In Florida's Disney World, Lane Graves, a 2-year-old boy, was on holiday with his family. They were playing and building sandcastles on the shore of the Seven Seas Lagoon. Suddenly, a massive alligator attacked Lane and pulled him into the murky water. Unfortunately, this resulted in the tragic end of Lane's life at Disney World. Welcome to Amazing Animal Stories. These are the terrible last minutes of Lane Graves at Disney World. Matt and Melissa Graves, a couple from Elkhorn, Nebraska, had planned an unforgettable family vacation. They eagerly awaited their trip to Disney World in Orlando, Florida, which they finally arrived at in June of 2016. Disney World is a massive vacation resort spread across 25,000 acres of land, offering various attractions including theme parks, studios, and Animal Kingdom. It's one of the most popular vacation destinations globally, attracting nearly 60 million visitors annually, of all ages. The Graves family enjoyed the best rides the resort offered before heading to the Seven Seas Lagoon for a peaceful evening. The man-made lagoon has an ideal spot for boating and fishing. The sun was shining brightly, and the water in the Seven Seas Lagoon was perfectly still. The lake was surrounded by grass, woodland, and golden sandy beaches. People were walking, running, and fishing in boats. The Graves family had been enjoying their incredible holiday for 3 days and were staying at the Grand Floridian Hotel located right by the lagoon. It was 8:30 p.m., which was late for the children, but Matt and Melissa decided to stay up this once. On the shores of the lake, there was an outdoor movie experience for them to enjoy, which was something new and exciting for the family. While the parents watched the movie, the children played joyfully on the beach, digging in the sand and splashing in the water. Matt and Melissa had brought a bucket and spade with them, and they gave it to their children to play with. 2-year-old Lane was very excited and started running towards the lake's sandy shore. He took the bucket from his older sister and filled it with sand. His parents helped him make a sandcastle by turning the bucket over, tapping it 3 times, and lifting it to reveal the sandcastle underneath. They repeated this activity many times, and Lane was delighted every time. After some time, Matt and Melissa decided it was time to leave, as it was getting late. However, Lane cried out, not wanting to return to the hotel room. Matt and Melissa decided to stay a little longer, as they didn't want to upset their toddler. It's not every day you get to go to Disney. Lane was having a great time building sandcastles with his family, but they needed to dig a trench around the mounds they had created, so he grabbed his bucket and headed to the nearby lake. Matt and Melissa watched from the shore as Lane splashed around in the shallow water, filling his bucket to bring back to the sandcastle moat. Suddenly, everything changed. Out of nowhere, an alligator appeared and grabbed their 2-year-old son Lane. The playful toddler was now in grave danger, and his family was shocked. Matt sprang into action without hesitation when he saw the alligator snatch his son. He lunged at the reptile and tackled it, wrestling it into the water. The alligator had a tight grip on Lane's head, but Matt bravely reached into the mouth to try and pry it open. However, the alligator thrashed around, throwing Matt off of its back. Matt believes that another alligator attacked him in a frenzy during the struggle. It's unclear if the injuries he sustained were from the alligator that took Lane or a second one that joined the attack. The alligator disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, taking Lane under the water's surface. The family was in shock and horror as they watched their young son being dragged away by a 7-foot-long beast. Matt and Melissa immediately ran into the water where Lane had been taken, and they called for the lifeguard, who came to the scene. The water was murky and brown, making it difficult to see. Matt dove under the water multiple times, frantically searching around for any sign of his son, but all he could do was feel the squelchy, muddy bottom. As he came up for air, he saw Melissa rushing through the shallows, screaming and yelling in panic. Unfortunately, Lane was an easy target for the alligator. He stood defenseless in the shallow water at only 37 inches tall and 30 pounds. Alligators are apex predators and ambush hunters in their environment, usually preying on fish, turtles, muskrats, birds, and deer. Although they are generally less aggressive than their crocodile cousins, they rarely attack humans, but when they do, they rely on their powerful bite force and the element of surprise. An alligator's bite force is incredibly strong, with a pressure comparable to the weight of a small pickup truck. The onlookers at the lagoon were left horrified as they watched, hoping and praying for the boy to return to the surface. However, as time passed, their hopes faded. Within minutes, emergency services arrived and searched the lake in boats. Over 50 officers joined in on the massive search operation. But tragically, it was not until 17 hours after the attack that Orange County divers found Lane's lifeless body. He was submerged in just 6 feet of water, yards from where the alligator had taken him. Matt and Melissa had frantically searched for their son. Heartbreakingly, he was just a few feet from where they'd been searching. Unfortunately, the muddy waters made it impossible to see below the surface. Lane's lifeless body was recovered and returned to the beach, where his distraught mother cradled him in his arms. Despite only a few puncture wounds from the alligator's attack, the wildlife officers determined that Lane had drowned. Although he had suffered trauma to his head and neck, his body had remained untouched by the predator. It's believed that when Matt intervened and struggled with the alligator, it may have let go of Lane and disappeared underwater. The family was devastated by the tragic loss of their beloved son. Lake Casimec, near Orlando, is home to a vast population of alligators, almost 2,000 of whom are the second largest in Florida. Due to the high competition, these alligators often have to look for food and territory in other areas. Some end up in recreational lakes that locals and tourists visit. After the tragic incident, authorities captured and euthanized 6 alligators from the lagoon. Upon examination, their stomachs were found empty, indicating that the alligators in the Disney lagoon were likely hungry. The alligator attack on Lane was unprovoked. He was just an innocent child who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. After the incident, Disney World put up warning signs around the lagoon to caution visitors about the presence of alligators. While alligator attacks are rare, they can have disastrous outcomes. Lane was having fun with his loved ones on a family vacation when the attack happened. The alligator seized an opportunity, tragically resulting in Lane's terrifying and fatal ordeal.